Hi there, Linda Artisani Bookkeeping, and I'm here to do another tutorial on my series of tutorials on hidden things in QuickBooks. And I'm really hoping that Intuit will listen on this one because it's something that drives me crazy. I've spent some time on hold with support, and it's a place I cannot access, and if a client doesn't take my name off, I keep getting their payroll updates. So it's a place you might not even know that exists if you use QuickBooks Online Payroll, either the enhanced version or the full service, which is the one I recommend for most clients. You just kind of set it and forget it. And I do have a couple of clients with the enhanced version that has payroll attached to it. You're going to come to Gear Wheel. You're going to come to Payroll Settings. And you may not even be aware that they're here, especially if you're working with an accounting professional. So they invite me into their file, their QuickBooks Online file, so I can get a look at their records and see what they need me for and price out the job. I tend to price out, I shouldn't say I tend to, I always price out my jobs on a specific fee, and that would be charged monthly or depending on the client, sometimes quarterly, depending on the amount. So if I give you a price and you come along and say that price isn't good for me and we part ways, maybe it's not in your budget, and then I ask you to remove me from your as an accountant user. So I don't want access to your file anymore, and I have them take me off as a user, and that's simply done here in settings. You can come over to manage users and take my name off for there, take my name off as the accountant. But what if you don't change here? So in here, if we come into email preferences, and this is what I'm talking about with being a hidden thing, you don't even know this is here, you're going to see that email is sent to, in this case this is my daughter's email, but you can see here that its email is sent to you, all the preferences for the business. So reminds you that payroll is due. It reminds you when tax forms are due if you're on the assisted. Any correspondence that has to do with payroll is going to come to this email. This is automatically put in when you invite the accountant as a user. So if I ask to see your file and you give me access to it, and then we don't agree on a price and you find somebody else for whatever reason, and I ask you to remove as the accountant user, then you also need to remove me from here, because if you don't, I will continue to get emails about your payroll. Now, I ask the clients a lot of times, or the potential clients, to please remove me, but some of them just can't find this spot or just don't bother to. So in the past, I have contacted Intuit to ask them, the payroll people, to please get these different clients off of my email list, because every week I'm getting an email, or every other week, whenever their payroll is supposed to be run, saying that this needs to happen, and I don't really want to see this on some people that I don't work with anymore. That is why this little spot should be able to let me access it and take my name off before I ask you to remove me as the accountant user. So minimally, I should be able to reach out to Intuit and ask them to please remove my name off of here. I've had them try to do it. It doesn't stick. I still get the emails. I've had a couple of people that I still get the emails. Which brings me to another small topic. I had a client the other day that reached out to me because he has a tendency to go into his file and look at the audit log to see who's been working in the file. I think he does it with his morning coffee, which ended up being a very good thing in this case, because he looked at the audit file and he saw this girl that he had given access to the file back last January, that it showed that she logged in, added herself as a user. And he wanted to know who added her as a user, who put her back in, and why did somebody put her back in. Well, I looked at the file and the audit log. I couldn't tell who put her back in. I don't know how she was able to have access. It showed that she put herself in and she added herself as a user. I contacted Intuit, Diamond Team, to find out, and they're looking into it. They don't know how. It looks like when he removed her credentials, they weren't 100% removed. That doesn't make my client real happy, because he doesn't want this person having access to his books. And when it comes to security in your file, we always say when you delete off of anything online, it's always out there. Well, apparently this person still had some kind of a connection. I had the same thing happen to me. This one client that we did not part ways in the most harmonious way. She would not take me off as the accountant user. She just wanted to keep me on there just in case she had a question, which she tried to use a few times. But like I said, we didn't part ways really well. So I wanted her to take me off. She would not take me off. Intuit did, in fact, end up having to take my name off. And I had to call them a second time to have them take me off these payroll settings. Once that was done, not that much longer ago, I stopped finally getting the emails on her payroll. I stopped getting, that I was still connected to this account. And then maybe 2 weeks ago, I get an email saying, how did we do? XYZ company contacted Intuit support. How do we do? So clearly, I'm somehow still connected to this file. Now, according to the Diamond team, this very rarely happens. When you remove a person online, it removes them fully. But they haven't really explained to me what happened in that case. And it's the same case. I'm somehow still connected to this woman's file that I do not want to be connected to at all. I want nothing to do with her. I don't want any access at all. I cannot see her file, but somehow I'm still attached in some fashion because I got the email asking how did Intuit support do. So those are a couple of things I think QuickBooks Intuit really needs to look into to cleanly remove a user, especially if it's a user that maybe was an employee that maybe left not on the best terms. So that is my little bit of a rant here on what happens with QuickBooks Online and users. I hope that is clear. If you have any questions about that, please let me know, and I will definitely post back once I hear back on that client where the person added the user back. Again, this is Linda Artisani Bookkeeping, and I hope this little bit of information was helpful, especially if you do remove an accountant user. You do want to make sure you take them off the payroll piece as well. And if you have any feedback, please reach out to me on Facebook. I'll provide a link in the blog post. Thank you.